Hello everyone, this is Harless58 signing on to do a video review of the Galaxy S9 Plus versus the iPhone XS Max. Two of the heavyweight champions, or some of the best smartphones that are currently out on the market in 2018. I've been using the Galaxy S9 Plus exclusively for the better half of 2018. I shouldn't say exclusively because I was using the Pixel 2 XL, and then in between I was using the Pixel 2 as well, only because of the benefits, in my opinion, of the camera on the Pixel 2 versus the S9 Plus. But I really felt like this is a jack of all trade phones, and hence the reason why it was inside my pocket for the better half of the year. Not many phones have been able to take that phone from out of my pocket up until the iPhone XS Max came out, and I decided to switch to iOS. So I figured, hey, before I sell the S9 Plus, I should do a video review of what I like about both phones and what I dislike about both phones. And I guess ultimately I just told you guys which phone is going to stay in my pocket, since I said I'm going to sell the S9 Plus. But that has more, as you guys will see with this, it has less to do about the phone and more to do with some other X factors. So I have both of these devices off, so I figured I'd go ahead and turn them on at the same time so you can see which one powers up faster. Just to do that, I know some people really like that. Some speed tests. So the S9 is on, and there the iPhone's coming on. Okay. So obviously the S9 Plus is running Android, and the Apple iPhone is running iOS, and that's pretty much going to be where a lot of the differences are. But there are also some differences in hardware in terms of internal hardware. So I would say that the S9 was maybe slightly faster than the iPhone XS. Let me go ahead and, the first time that you turn these devices on, you have to input the code. So I'm just putting in my code, and then I'm also going to do sort of a speed test of unlocking the device too. So if you guys are on this channel, this might be a longer video, so I apologize in advance. But some of the differences in hardware with Samsung, they have a throw everything at the wall and see what sticks sort of approach, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on that fine tuning. Sometimes things are not as fine tuned because of that approach, because they have so many things, a slew of so many different things, that it's difficult to fine tune all of them. But it does leave the user with a lot to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly try and unlock these devices with my face. Look at that, the iPhone is already unlocked. That's that sort of speaks volumes. It's the unlock, the Face ID is really good on the iPhone. So I'm going to try, and with the iPhone you just lift it, and with the Samsung you have to press the button to unlock it. It has this button that's under the screen that you can press. So let me see. And it's already unlocked on the iPhone, as you saw, but you have to swipe up. So let me do that again, because I don't know if you guys are able to see that. Doing this from behind the camera. So again, press the button, and it was already unlocked from the iPhone, but you have to swipe up. So some people think that, you know, the iPhone is slower because you have to do that extra swipe, versus, as you saw with the S9 Plus, it just went right to, you know, the main screen, the home screen. In my opinion, with using both, I actually enjoy the fact that there's a pause with the iPhone, and the only reason for that is because sometimes you receive notifications on that lock screen, and with the iPhone, if there was a notification here, what it would do is, actually, I can go ahead and send myself a notification so you guys can see. So with the iPhone, what it'll do is it'll show or display a notification, and then once it registers and sees that it is your face looking at the device, it'll read, or it'll show you that notification, like the text within the notification. See if I can show it really quickly. And then obviously it gives you a chance to read that, and then that way you can decide if you want to respond. With the S9 Plus, unfortunately, once that notification pops up, the second that it registers your face, you get pushed to the home screen. And so then you have to now pull down the shade and open up the notification. It's not a big deal, but in the grand scheme of things, in terms of replying to those notifications, it's going to take longer in the S9 Plus. I'm going to show you guys really quickly. Oh, well, I have to take this from out of airplane mode really quickly, just to show that. Hopefully this phone doesn't start going crazy. Don't want to put anybody on blast. So I'm going to try and do a quick demonstration of that. But overall, while we're doing that, I'm going to talk about the rest of the hardware. The S9 Plus, IP68 rating, beautiful design. I'm going to take it out of the case to look at it. Rear mounted fingerprint scanner, has a front facing iris scanner so that you get facial unlock. It has a front facing camera along with the iris scanner so that you can get your iris scanner for secure payments, and you also have that combined with face unlock. You have this, I believe, so this is a button that they put under the screen. They put that there because they're going to do an in-display fingerprint scanner, I'm pretty sure, pretty soon, and so that's why that button's there. Cool. It has expandable memory. This one here, I think, has 164 gigabyte variant. Fast wireless charging, fast charging, glass front, glass back, beautiful display, absolutely beautiful display when you're looking at video content on this, which I'm going to pull up in a second. So I think I just got a message on here, so let me just check really quickly. Yeah, so here, so this is what we'll do. So I got a message on this device here on the iPhone. So as you guys can see, you raise it, it just says new message, right? Text message. Now I'm going to put my face here. And you see the second that it sees it, it gives the message, which is cool. And then I can select the messages and respond to them. So here, you just hold down from the home screen and just type. And so just to, well, I already sent it now. And hit X. Cool. So anyway, so just wanted to show you guys that really quickly. So I think I went over everything for the S9. Again, IP68, 64 gigabytes of storage, expandable memory, fast charging, fast wireless charging. Beautiful design, really feels amazing in the hand. Feels great, beautiful display, really good camera, rear facing fingerprint scanner. These dual camera setup. It also has dual aperture that switches between the two depending on low light settings. Heart rate monitor built into the phone. It has everything, you know? So now when I list these things for the iPhone, it's gonna be a smaller list. So the iPhone, first of all, design is amazing. It really is a beautiful device. Anybody that tells you that the iPhone is ugly, not gonna say that they're wrong, because you know all of these things are subjective, but there's going to be a smaller percentage of people, a low percentage of people that say that the iPhone is not a beautiful device. Stainless steel around the edges. I believe that this is aluminum on the Samsung, which isn't bad. It's fine. It's still really good build quality. You have your, I'm gonna put this back over here in airplane mode so I don't blow anybody up. You have your volume rocker over here. You have your, since I'm new to this iOS stuff, well, I'm not new because I had iOS for, I had the iPhone 4, then I went to like the iPhone 5. But I don't recall what this is called, but basically allows you to switch between silent and it's like your do not disturb mode. Nice little switch, which is cool. I wish more phones on Android had that, but whatever. You have your, I don't even know if this is called the power button because it does so many different things. No fingerprint scanner on here, only unlocked by Face ID, which in my opinion is actually pretty fast. So yeah, no expandable storage. It does have wireless charging. It does have fast charging. It doesn't have, I think it has like semi-fast wireless charging. It doesn't charge as fast as its Android counterparts. And you have to pay for fast charging, an extra expense. This has a fast charger included. Oh, forgot. This also has a headphone jack and a USB type C. This is proprietary Apple with their lightning cable. So in terms of the hardware specs, clearly out the gate, I think design may be a wash. I think that they're both really great, beautifully designed and constructed in terms of their aesthetics. However, Samsung, it just has more features. There's way more boxes that are checked off with the Samsung. Also, I mean, look at the software. You have this always on display where you can see the time, which is cool. So let me see some of the things that I liked about the S9 Plus. Pretty much I stated all of them. I think, oh, the only thing that I didn't state from this that I liked, well, so now is the price. You can get these probably for about half the price of this. This is the iPhone XS Max with the 256 gigs. I paid like $1,200 for this phone. You can probably get two of these for the price of that at this point. If you're looking at a carrier, I think you could probably get them for around 600, maybe $700. So it's tough to tell someone that this phone is twice the amount of phone as this. Really difficult to say. I don't even believe that. I can't say that. The other thing that this has is Samsung Pay, which Samsung Pay is a combined of MST and NFC. And that is one feature that I really do miss on the iPhone. I know that as time continues, there's going to be more NFC readers. There's a lot of NFC readers currently, thanks to Apple sort of embracing that. When Android undertook that initially, it definitely had like 4 or so years ahead of Apple. But once Apple embraced NFC technology, you started seeing it everywhere. So they allowed that to be pushed forward. So that is great, even though Android started it, but whatever. So MST essentially simulates a card swipe. And so because of that, I mean, let's just say the percentages, maybe there's about 50 to 60 NFC readers, at least in the US, 50 to 60%, maybe more than that. So that's how many places you can make a payment with your Apple, with your iPhone. MST, virtually, you can use it anywhere that has a place where you can swipe your card, which is great. And that's, like I said, one thing that I miss because I would just take my phone with me a majority of the times, going to Publix and buy something, and I just use my phone to pay. And right now I can't do that, so that sucks. So we said build quality, beautiful device, expandable memory, IP68. They're both IP68, wireless charging, fast chargers included, headphone jack, and Samsung Pay. So what did I not like about the Samsung device? Why did I decide to switch? Well, being honest, the main thing that I didn't like about the Samsung device itself was the battery. Battery life on this was pretty bad. Even though, it has that wireless charging, has that fast charging, I was sort of using that to supplement myself throughout the day. Like wake up, go to the gym, get in the car, drive to work. I'd make sure that I plugged it in to the charger. So yes, I plugged it into the charger, it was charging fast. So when I got to work, let's say when I was at the gym, it had dropped from 100% to maybe 70%. Get to work, now it's fast charging, maybe it's in 80 to 90%. Cool, I'm at work using it. I have a wireless charger at home. I put it, not at home, but at work, put it on that to help it keep it topped off. Then I get home and I would put it on the wireless charger and I realized I'm charging it all the damn time. And then even still, the battery would be maybe around 30 to 40%, if not lower by the end of the day. That's pretty bad if I'm putting it on charge all the time. So I thought that maybe there was an issue with my battery. So I actually went and with iFix, they have a program set up with Samsung. So if you believe that the battery's defective, they'll go and they'll replace it for free. So I took it there. They ran a diagnostic test, and they're like, okay, maybe there might be something wrong with your battery. So they replaced it free of charge. Cool. Battery still is not. It's pretty not as bad as it was before, and I think that was just due to degradation since I got the phone at launch, and I did this maybe like a month and a half ago. But then still over the course of the last month and a half, the battery still was not what I expected it to be. So, like I said, the worst part of this was the battery life. And I don't know if maybe that had something to do with the fact that maybe it's the fast charging is messing with the battery cells, maybe the wireless charging, I don't know. But that is one thing that I can sort of state for Android with a blanket term. There's a lot of phones that have a lot of features, but some of them are not so well meticulously designed and thought through and through, at least in my opinion. And I think that could be part of the reason why the battery life on this S9 was not as good. And maybe some of that had to do with software as well. Let's see. So some of the things that I can directly compare between the two is they both offer some sort of AR emoji, right? So I guess I can go ahead and pull that up. That's a feature that a lot of people use. Pull up the camera. So on Samsung, it's called AR emoji, if I remember correctly. And then on the S9 Plus AR emoji. And then on the iPhone, you have the Animoji. So let me go ahead and pull this up. So here it is on the S9 Plus. The good thing about the S9 Plus is that they have these partnerships with so many different groups. So with Disney, you have these partnerships, which is cool. And so because of that, they have these different characters, which I really wish that Apple had, and they would take advantage of that, but they don't, at least right now. And then so on the iPhone, you can create your own emojis, or you can use animals. So I'll go ahead and just to give you guys an example, I'll go ahead and record this. So I'm recording this now. This is AR emoji on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Sorry if that shot was bad, but I'm trying to make sure that it captures my face, and that's it. So I do that and I play it back so you guys can see what it looks like in real time. Recording this now. This is AR emoji on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Sorry if that shot was bad, but I'm trying to make sure that it captures my face, and that's it. Okay, cool. So now we'll go over here to the iPhone and I'm gonna do the same thing. So remember, I'm doing this from behind the camera, as you guys just saw. So this is AR emoji on the iPhone XS Plus, the iPhone XS Max, which has a horrible name, I must admit. And that's it. Just wanted to show you guys that. So this is AR emoji on the iPhone XS Plus, the iPhone XS Max, which has a horrible name, I must admit. And that's it. Just wanted to show you guys that. So, I mean, just looking at that, I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. It's leaps and bounds better on the, oh yeah, I sent it by accident, on the iPhone versus the Samsung device. The only backdraw is on the iPhone currently, you can only send it via iMessage. There's some workarounds that I've been able to do because I have a couple of friends that don't have iPhones, and so I want to send them this. And so what I do is I just send the message to myself, and then I download the message, and then I send it to Allo, which is how I text some other people that have Android devices. Cool. Let's see. That was one thing that I wanted to touch on. The cameras. I think there's enough data and reviews on the cameras between these two devices. The iPhone XS Max has a better camera, I do believe. The Pixel 2 is still better than them, and now that the Pixel 3 is out, it'll be interesting to see how Google pushes the envelope even further in that space. What else did I want to touch on? I know this video is long, but I just wanted to make sure I got all my thoughts out because I know that there's going to be people that want the iPhone XS Max and maybe they realize they're like, but is it really worth it? And so I want to make sure that I speak on that. So I spoke about the iPhone. Okay, so the XS Max, what did I like about it? The main things that I really liked are the build quality, beautiful display, even with the notch. I think it's a great display. IP68, which is cool. Wireless charging is good. Fast charging is cool. I have a bunch of wireless chargers because I've been embracing wireless charging for the last umpteenth years. So I have lots of them placed around the house. And the other thing that I really like that I forgot to write down is battery life. So because the S9 Plus was so horrible on battery life, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, that I wasn't using this device in the same way, and that I wasn't trying to supplement battery life by having all of these wireless chargers. And I don't. I purposefully ride around without plugging my phone into my car charger, without putting my phone on my wireless charger, just to see what the battery life will be. And I always get great battery life without having to do that. So I know that once I start putting them on the wireless chargers and I plug them up into my car, or once I start putting the phone on my wireless chargers and plugging up in the car, I'm going to be ending the day at like 50 to 60%. Like probably even higher than that, just to be 100% honest, which is crazy. This battery is smaller. Yes, the S9 Plus has higher pixel density and is pushing more pixels, 100% agree. But still, it's a smaller battery in the iPhone XS Max as well. I think that there's something to be said there. I don't know if there's something that Apple is doing in terms of software to help with the battery degradation and how it sips power throughout the day. But even the S9 Plus, the battery life, like I would just leave it like not on charge and just leave it at nighttime just to see what it would do, and it would drain like quite a lot. So I don't know if that's software or what that is, but just throwing that out there. Really great battery life on the XS Max in my personal experience. So now the negatives. So the negatives, I don't like the price. As Flossie Carter says, sorry, I'm trying to like rush because I'm this video, but whatever. You guys are 20 minutes in. You guys are going to watch this whole thing. If you're not, then you're not. I'm sorry. As Flossie Carter says, the price is too goddamn high. Okay? No expandable memory. No Samsung Pay. Yes, you get Apple Pay, but it's limited with their NFC readers. You have to pay extra for fast charging. The notch, to me, I'm indifferent, to be 100% honest. At first, I hated it, and I thought that the campaigns that Samsung was doing against the notch, I thought they were funny, but I don't mind it. I understand the purpose and what it serves. In some games, it does obstruct some things, but all in all, I don't really mind that there's a notch. And plus, over 90% of Android phones have now adopted the notch. The only people that haven't pretty much is Samsung. Everybody else has a notch. No haptic feedback when typing. Now, this is one thing that I really do miss on the S9 Plus, and even it's almost like every Android phone. When you're typing on the S9 Plus, let me go ahead and open this up. I don't want to put anyone on blast, as I said. So, ooh, that feels so good. Just one pause. So when you're typing here on this keyboard, you get haptic feedback that lets you know that you're pressing something. It just feels good, and sort of I took it for granted on Android phones for so long, and on iPhone now, you don't get that. Like, it just feels so weird to not have that. Me and my cousin, we both switched over to the iPhone XS Maxes, and that was the one thing that we noticed, like, initially. Like, it just feels so weird, and it's unfortunate. I don't know why it's omitted from the iPhone, but haptic feedback is really any iPhone users that, you know, maybe you have no idea what I'm talking about. Imagine like what is it called? Force touch. It's like force touch, but except you're using it when you're typing on a keypad. It just makes it feel a bit more 3D and realistic, like you're actually touching something. On the iPhone, it like emits a sound to let you know that you touch something, but you're actually getting feedback while you're typing, which is, it's just a really good feeling. And it's unfortunate that it's not on the iPhone. And it's even more unfortunate because I type a lot. You know, obviously that's how you're using your phone. And because of that, the experience is a little weird. So with all of these things that I just stated, you'd probably be wondering, well, clearly the Samsung has better build quality. There's more things that you liked about the Samsung device, less things that you hated about the Samsung device. Why did you switch to the iPhone? Oh, and before we even get to that, there's something else about the operating systems that we should speak on. So I didn't know this, but even when I switched over to the iPhone, there are a lot of apps that I use on Android that are not there on the iPhone, which is crazy because I remember back when I had the iPhone 4, it was like, I don't want to say 2-to-1, but there were just a lot more apps in the App Store versus what Google had in the, back then it was Google Market or Android Market. And so it's crazy that now, and so I was like, well, maybe, you know, this is just me. I was like, maybe it's my niche apps. There's apps that I like to use in the hospital when we're taking x-rays and radiographs and looking at angles. And then there's another app that I use for call recording, you know, and it's very difficult to find a good call recording app on the App Store, but that's neither here nor there. But so anyway, so I was like, maybe this is just me. So I actually Googled it, and Android has 3.8 million apps. So it's the number one, I think, app market or store for applications in the world. And Apple is number 2 at 2 million apps. That's almost twice as many apps. That's crazy. So that's really unfortunate. And I mean, it's not that, I will say that the apps on the iPhone, majority of the time, they are built, at least in my opinion, better. They look better, and also most of the time you have to pay for apps in the App Store as well, which sucks because that's sort of a theme when you go to the iPhone, you end up paying a lot more money. But yeah, so now that I've said that there's more apps on Android, clearly, which has been defined, this has way more features. The cameras, like I said, the iPhone Max has the iPhone XS Max. The naming convention is horrible, Apple. It really is. The XS Max is horrendous. Need to fix that. But the iPhone has a slightly better camera than the S9 Plus, in my opinion. Better battery, though, for sure on the iPhone. But almost everything else goes to the Samsung device. So why did I decide to switch? Well, ultimately, I decided to switch partly because of this, the watch. I'm not going to lie. I've been looking for a way to get into an ecosystem where I can use a watch. I want a smartwatch that does two things: notifications and working out, basically. I want it to be a smartwatch, and I also want it to be a fitness tracker, you know, help me with working out. And through my looking through so many different As you guys saw from videos, Android Wear or Wear OS watches, I just couldn't find one that did it all, and also that had a good battery life. And so because of that, I wanted to give the Apple Watch a shot. And so in order for me to give the Apple Watch a shot, unfortunately, I had to switch to iOS because Apple Watch doesn't work with Android. So that's a main reason why I decided to switch. Another reason was I have used the iOS before back in the day, and I was like, well, I can give it a shot, see if I like it, and then I can always switch back. And then the third reason is, everybody who has an iPhone, they always say, it just works. I don't need to do all that. Oh yeah, your Android phone can do all of these things, blah, 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 but I don't need all that stuff. This stuff just works. And that's what everybody just says. It's like, it's just like a universal thing that people say with iPhones. It just works, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, well, I can see if it just works. And I disagree that Android can do more things than the iPhone, but iPhone can, at least in my time apart, I can see that iPhone has caught up with the ability to do more things. Still a learning curve, but I'm not going to get into that. But the concept of it just works is so true. For example, these earbuds, the AirPods, sorry, they just work. Yes, I will admit that I took a deep dive into the Apple ecosystem. I already had a MacBook. I figured if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go balls deep. So I got the iPhone, I got the AirPods, and I got the Apple Watch. So I paired these to my phone. I flipped this. I guess I can go ahead and show you guys why not. Well, do I have airplane mode on? Yeah, but I think it should still work even with airplane mode on. Just to show you guys. Flip this up, right? It's next to the phone. Bam, pops up Max AirPods. Take these out, put them into my ear, and they just work. Simple. Oh, well, what if you don't want to connect it to your phone? Cool. I can take the AirPods from right out of there, put them in my ear, and then I want to play music from here. They automatically have already been paired to my Apple Watch. I did not have to do a separate step to pair it to my Apple Watch. It knows it because it's linked through the my iCloud account. Same thing with my MacBook. I don't have an iPad, but it would be the same thing with my iPad. And it's a small thing, but it does just work. Then cool. Then another thing with my MacBook here. So you guys can't see, but since I have the Apple Watch, if I want to turn on my MacBook, it unlocks directly just from wearing the watch. So it's just a small, and it's a added benefit of being a part of that ecosystem. If you have all of these different things, things just work. It's so true. I've run into very minimal problems with any of my Apple devices. Earlier, I did run into an issue with walkie-talkie with trying to communicate with my cousin after he updated his Apple Watch Series 3 to WatchOS 5. We did run into a small issue. But apart from that, I can honestly say that I have had very limited issues with any of these Apple products. They just work. And that is something to be said when an Android user can pick up an iPhone and get there. I'm not going to say that there was everything. The second that I picked up the iPhone, I knew how to use it. No, that's not true. There's still some sort of learning curve, but I can still pick up the phone and for the most part figure out what I need to do. I honestly, if an iPhone user was to switch to Android, I don't think that they would be able to. And as a side note, though, I think that that's part of the reason why Android Pie looks very similar to iOS 12, and especially between switching apps. It's very similar. I mean, it's crazy. I think I said it in a previous video how companies bite each other, but I think everything's done with intention. So that's the reason why I'm essentially switching to the iPhone XS Max. Sounds very stupid because I literally just stated, well, I got it because I wanted to pay extra $160 for these EarPods and an extra, I think like $600 for this Apple Watch just to say that it just works. But it's those small things and that attention to detail. These are very well-built devices. Not saying that the Samsung device isn't well-built, but the fact that the battery life on the Samsung was so horrendous, and we're talking about within the first 6 to 8 months of it being released, I already had to switch out the battery. People have told me, I have spoken to people about the iPhone, and they told me that over time, you will probably get some deterioration in the battery. Cool, but I can honestly say that I've never gotten battery life like this on any Android phone that I've used, period. The Pixel 2 XL had pretty decent battery life. The Moto Z also, but that was because of that wireless battery pack, and then plus it was a 1080p panel. But this is, in terms of having like a high-end spec device, this definitely I've gotten the best battery life out of. And then, like I said, the ecosystem, the walled garden, I think has how MKBHD put it. So because I want that fluidity, and because I do want the ability also to make phone calls without having to take my phone with me, there's no Android Watch that has LTE, which is so unfortunate because Wear OS has been out for so long. But that just shows that manufacturers are not willing to take that dive or that plummet to create that device because they don't believe that it will sell. The LG Watch, I think Sport Watch, came out 2 years ago or something like that. And that was the only Android device that had LTE, and I think that was exclusive to AT&T. And I had that device, and the battery life was just horrendous. I don't want to speak too much on the Apple Watch because I'm going to do a review for that as well, but I'm enjoying it. I like it a lot. And so basically I have a device that I can just take with me, and I can just put in my AirPods, and these are super comfortable. I guess I can do a review of those if you guys want it. I mean, I think there's plenty of those out there though, but I can put on those headphones and go for a walk, go for a jog, walk my dogs, go to the grocery store and come back without having the need of taking my phone. And to me, I enjoy that because sometimes carrying a phone can be cumbersome. Sometimes, especially with this new well-being initiative between Apple and Google and always being so connected to your device, I feel like, once you have a watch with LTE, you're close enough to be contacted, but you're not sort of connected at the hip with always looking at the screen and searching the web and what have you. So I like that, and there's nothing that offers that in the Android space. Google tried to do something with the Chromebooks where if you had your phone near, you could unlock your Chromebook, but that never worked for me, and I have a Chromebook, and again, it's unfortunate. And that's sort of, if I had to say, with the iPhone and with Apple products and its ecosystem, it does just work. It sounds so corny, but with Android, it doesn't. I honestly can say that there's been numerous times where I've had to troubleshoot things in the Android space to get things to work. And I'm not complaining about it because I'm a tinkerer. I like to tinker, and so I did it. But sort of at this stage in my career, it's just easier for me not to have to worry about those things. And another thing that I didn't even touch on is iMessage. iMessage is, as good as everybody tells you iMessage is, it is that times, I'm not going to say 10, maybe times 5. It's really good though. It's a great way to communicate with other people that have iPhones. There's so many different things that you can do within the app. You can send those animojis, you can request cash, you can play games through the app, you can send nudges. It's a plethora of things that you can do with the app. And if you don't know about the iMessage app, I mean, if you're an Android user, you don't know about it, and you should be glad that you don't know, because if you knew about it, then you'd be upset that Google hasn't created something in the Android space very similar to that, which again is unfortunate. So this is a really long video. I do apologize, but I just wanted to express all of my thoughts and everything, and just let you guys know that I did switch, and I plan on keeping this iPhone XS Max until maybe the next iPhone comes out, or until Android proves to me that they want my dollars. I'm pretty sure the S10 is going to be an amazing device. It will be. It's going to have everything under the sun. It's probably going to have an fingerprint scanner, which is going to be great. And that is what I wanted to end this video with, by saying the S9 Plus is the better phone. 100% agree. I don't think that there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it in terms of being a better device that has everything that you need and could possibly want. Get the S9 Plus. But if you want to be in how do I say this, an ecosystem, a favorable ecosystem where things just work, and you are not only relying on a phone, but you also eventually want to get some nice Bluetooth headphones. You want to get a watch that's going to help you with your fitness tracking, even if you just want to watch for notifications. Maybe you already have a MacBook, or you're planning to get a MacBook because you like what Apple's doing in that space. Then if you want to be in an ecosystem, a friendly ecosystem that will do everything that you need and want it to do for you, you go with the iPhone. I don't think, at least in my opinion, with my experience with it, that's the way you go. If you want the better device, the better phone, and you don't care about being a part of a single ecosystem, then you go with the S9 Plus. Cool. So it's Harley 58. I apologize. This turned into a 35-minute video. This is crazy. I guess that just goes to show how, I don't want to say emotional or attached I am, but I just really wanted to make sure that I explain the differences between the two so that you guys can know the information. Maybe you're an Android user and you're on the fence and you've been a hardcore Android fan and you feel like if you switched over to iOS, people would look at you funny. Hey, nobody cares. At the end of the day, you do what makes you happy. But for sure, this is a great ecosystem to be a part of. I can't lie. Android was good, and I'm pretty sure with more people switching to the iPhone, they're going to have to do something in that space to help drive competition, in my opinion. So, Harley 58 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Apple Watch Series 4 video coming soon. I may actually end up posting that video before I post this one. Again, see you guys in the next one, and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it. Peace.